I still remember the look in her eyes. Small, tired, and braver than any child should have to be. When she spoke, her voice shook, not from the cold, but from something deeper. Can you give me a hug, please? The single dad froze. He had no idea that this simple request from a poor little girl would break down walls he didn't even know he had. And what happened next left both of them in tears. Before we begin, if stories about kindness and humanity touch your heart, take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps our channel, Kindness World, continue spreading stories that remind us how powerful compassion can be. It was a gray afternoon in a small American town, the kind of day where the sky felt heavy and everyone seemed lost in their own worries. Mark stood outside a grocery store, shifting a bag of food from one hand to the other. He was exhausted. Life hadn't been easy since his wife passed away 3 years earlier, leaving him to raise their young son alone. Every day felt like a battle between bills, grief, and trying to be strong for his child. Mark had just finished shopping after work. He was thinking about getting home in time to help his son with homework when he noticed her. She stood near the store entrance, wearing a thin jacket that looked too small for her. Her shoes were worn out, and her hair was messy, as if no one had brushed it in days. Most people walked past her, eyes forward, pretending not to see. At first, Mark assumed she was waiting for someone. But then he noticed she wasn't moving. She wasn't asking for money. She wasn't bothering anyone. She just stood there, hugging herself, shivering. Mark felt a familiar ache in his chest. He told himself he couldn't fix the whole world. He had his own problems. His own pain. Still, something made him stop. Maybe it was the way she reminded him of how fragile life can be. Maybe it was the memory of how kindness once saved him when he felt completely alone. He turned to leave, but that's when he heard her voice. Excuse me, sir? Mark looked down. She was staring at him with wide eyes, holding back tears. Yes, he said gently. She hesitated, as if afraid he might walk away like everyone else. Then she whispered the words that caught him completely off guard. Can you give me a hug, please? Mark felt his throat tighten. In today's world, a request like that felt complicated. He glanced around, unsure of what to do. But when he looked back at her, he saw nothing but loneliness. Not danger. Not manipulation. Just a child who desperately needed human warmth. Why do you want a hug? He asked softly. She shrugged. I haven't had one in a long time. That was it. His defenses crumbled. Mark slowly set his grocery bags down and knelt so he was at her eye level. What's your name? He asked. Lily, she said. I'm Mark. He opened his arms, uncertain at first. Lily stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him tightly, as if she was afraid he might disappear. Mark felt her small body shaking. In that moment, he forgot about his stress, his grief, and his fear of being vulnerable. He hugged her back. Lily began to cry. Not loud sobs, but the kind of quiet crying that comes from holding pain inside for too long. Mark felt tears fill his own eyes. He hadn't cried like this since his wife's funeral. He realized that this hug wasn't just healing her. It was healing him too. After a few moments, Lily pulled back and wiped her face, embarrassed. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't mean to cry. Mark smiled through his tears. It's okay. Sometimes crying means your heart needed a break. He asked her where her parents were. Lily looked down. It's just me and my grandma, she said. She's sick. We don't have much. I come here after school because it's warm. Mark felt his heart sink. He thought about his son at home, safe and loved. He thought about how close he'd come to walking away. He picked up one of his grocery bags and handed it to her. I was going to make dinner, he said. But I think you might need this more. Lily's eyes widened. Are you sure? He nodded. Kindness grows when we share it. She smiled for the first time, a real smile that lit up her face. Thank you, she said. You're really nice. Mark laughed softly. You made my day too, Lily. Before leaving, he gave her one last hug. This time, it felt different. Lighter. Fuller. As Mark drove home, his heart felt warm in a way it hadn't in years. When he walked through the door, his son looked up and asked, "Dad, why are you smiling?" Mark knelt and hugged him tight. "Because I remembered something important today." "What's that?" his son asked. "That kindness matters," Mark said. "And sometimes, all it takes is a hug." Weeks later, Mark returned to the store and saw Lily again. This time, she wasn't alone. Her grandma sat beside her, smiling weakly. Lily ran up and hugged Mark without hesitation. "I told her about you," Lily said. "You made me feel like I mattered." Mark felt tears again, but this time they were filled with hope. That day, Mark realized something powerful. Kindness doesn't have to be big. It doesn't need money or grand gestures. Sometimes, it's simply being present. Sometimes, it's listening. Sometimes, it's a hug given at the right moment. In a world that often feels cold and rushed, we never know the silent battles others are fighting. A small act of kindness can change a life, including our own. So the next time someone asks for a little warmth, a little compassion, or even just a hug, remember this story. You might be the reason their tears turn into healing, and maybe, just maybe, kindness will spread a little further because of you.